Do you remember me? Because I never forgot.
Marvel pulled a surprise move, dropping it where no one expected, giving us the first official look at Avengers 5, featuring Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doom's debut design. In today's video, we're breaking down every detail of that look, and at the same time, bringing you the latest updates on Doctor Strange. After Multiverse of Madness, I know a lot of people are wondering whether Doctor Strange 3 is even happening. Don't worry, I'll walk you through everything. What's coming next is absolutely insane. Marvel is finally starting to roll out material for Avengers 5, Doomsday. These are the same eerie stylized clips the Russo brothers have been teasing since early this year, with that strange tone and mysterious vibe, because once Marvel starts testing their most unconventional promo styles and teaser footage, it means one thing: the Avengers era is back. And with Avengers 6, Secret Wars dropping next year, expect the same rollout strategy. The Doctor Doom design we're seeing now actually comes from a recent wave of merch collabs. Fans have already spotted physical items sitting on store shelves. This version lines up perfectly with several earlier reveals we've seen over the past few months. The rivet details on the mask, the structure of the armor, all of it matches, which means Marvel is using one unified design across all merchandise, and that basically confirms this is his official in-film look. At the same time, it indirectly validates those leaked images from late last year. Over the past year, whenever supposed Avengers 5 designs surfaced, people questioned if they were fake. But the Doctor Doom images? There are too many of them, and they're way too consistent. Add to that the merch designs, matching the wrap gifts given to the film crew, and now it's clear Doom's first on-screen look is locked in. Reports say Doctor Doom will never remove his mask in the film, keeping his identity hidden the entire time, which means no one in the movie will know who he really is, but the audience will see through it instantly. And that information gap is exactly what the film uses to create a unique viewing experience. So before Secret Wars, Marvel will likely keep him masked without revealing his face. Interestingly, in the comic Secret Wars 2, there was a twist under Doom's mask. At one point, his face was actually restored, but that was a completely different version of the character, not designed for a twist, like Robert Downey Jr. switching from Iron Man to Doom. In other words, that Doom was the classic comic version, not a hidden casting trick, waiting for a reveal. Recently, while revisiting early concept art, I noticed something interesting: hidden clues about Doctor Strange's deeper role in the cinematic universe. A lot of people have been asking why he's missing from Thunderbolts. After all, he's still very active in the universe. Logically, he should be part of major events like that. But the strange thing is, no one in those films even mentions where he is, and that silence feels intentional. Turns out, his storyline was originally far more important than we thought. Specifically, his post-credit scene in Doctor Strange 2 was meant to directly set up Doctor Strange 3. That was Kevin Feige's original plan, back when Avengers 5 was still built around Kang Dynasty. At the time, Jonathan Majors was set to play another version of Kang, and both Avengers 5 and 6 had a completely different narrative direction. But everything changed. The Russos came back, Robert Downey Jr. returned, and both films were completely rewritten. That structural shift also impacted Doctor Strange 3, pushing it into delay or temporary suspension. Given the current direction, there are even rumors that Secret Wars might be split into 2 films. If that happens, the Avengers saga could expand into a trilogy. Interestingly, this idea actually started forming back during the Kang era, and if Secret Wars really gets divided, there's a strong chance Doctor Strange 3 will be placed in between as a bridge. But as of now, the priority remains clear. First Avengers 5, Doomsday, then Avengers 6, Secret Wars, followed by a soft reboot into Phase 7. Projects like Black Panther 3 and a new X-Men are already part of that roadmap. Looking back at Doctor Strange 2, that post-credit scene now makes a lot more sense. It was actually setting up how Marvel plans to adapt the massive comic event. Time runs out. The incursion shown there is a direct visual nod to the tone and core conflict of that storyline. The Russo brothers plan to use that framework in Avengers 5 with significant changes. One key storyline they're keeping is the connection between Doctor Strange and Doctor Doom. This subplot ties into Strange's alliance with the Avengers and introduces a major turning point. Technically, Doctor Strange has never been an official Avenger, but he's always fought alongside them, helping save the universe, so naturally, you'd expect him to stand with the heroes against Doom. But in time runs out, he makes a different choice. Faced with how to save collapsing worlds, he ends up clashing with the Avengers. In the end, they're forced to accept their world's destruction. Just 30 seconds before Earth 616 is destroyed, Doctor Strange leaves, entering another reality and joining the Black Priests. He becomes part of this secret group, dedicated to stopping incursions, but they operate in the shadows, willing to take extreme measures to save the multiverse. Every member wears a distinct mask. As events unfold, he uncovers the forces behind the incursions, but when he confronts another faction, he realizes they're also fighting in their own way. That group, led by Reba Malel, commands the Black Swans, and they're hunting his team. Eventually, he learns the truth. The mastermind is Doctor Doom. Doom is secretly manipulating everything to stop the Beyonders. Strange ends up helping Doom defeat them. Doom absorbs their power and ascends to godhood, and that leads directly to Battleworld and the events of Secret Wars. According to reports, this is exactly the storyline the Russos are drawing from. In Avengers 5, Doctor Strange will wear a mask and join Doom's side, a massive betrayal to the Avengers, because he once fought beside them, saved the universe, and now turns against them. His motivation, same as the comics, believing Doom's plan is the only solution. If you remember last year's leaked art, Strange in a white comic-style robe stood beside God Emperor Doom. That lines up perfectly with this direction. In the comics, he serves Doom after helping him win, and despite wanting to save everything, he slowly becomes one of the most dangerous beings. That darker version of the Sorcerer Supreme is the end result of that path. The real question is, how much of this the Russos will adapt? My guess? They'll streamline the story, push Avengers 5 forward, and set up Secret Wars. But to fully capture the scale of that storyline, splitting it into 2 parts makes a lot more sense, because there's no way a 3-hour film can contain that epic. Interestingly, this also ties into Doctor Doom's characterization in Captain America comics, echoing the tone of Civil War. Just like back then, when Iron Man and Cap clashed over ideology, Marvel wants audiences to understand both sides, not just label one as wrong. The Russos recently revealed that Avengers 5 will directly follow Endgame. And even if you've only seen the Avengers films, you can still jump right in. In other words, this is basically a fast-track experience for fans to dive back into the MCU. The story will focus heavily on the cost of stopping Thanos, especially the consequences of time travel. Just like Tony Stark once said, mess with time, and time pushes back. This time, those consequences trigger multiversal incursions and uncover a massive secret. The directors emphasize everything traces back to that one pivotal time jump. Notably, the trailer opens with Captain America's theme, and that's no accident, because Doom's core mission is to stop the collapse of the multiverse. In one timeline, his family dies during an incursion, and he believes the root cause is Steve Rogers, specifically, Steve choosing to go back in time and live with Peggy Carter. That decision sets off a chain reaction, leading to tragedy, which means we're getting a full-on Civil War 2.0, Doctor Doom versus Captain America. But this time, both sides carry memories and trauma from different universes, and in a fractured timeline, they collide. In a final showdown, Doom blaming Cap isn't just about creating a villain, it's about making him understandable. He's not evil by nature. From a certain perspective, his logic makes sense. Think about it, Cap choosing to stay in the past was emotionally satisfying, but it may have planted the seeds for future incursions. We're happy for him, but that choice may have unknowingly triggered catastrophic consequences. This setup feels very much like Civil War, forcing the audience into a moral dilemma. It's no longer good versus evil, it's ideology versus ideology. That said, this narrative style does feel like the Russos revisiting their own formula. After all, they created Civil War, but from another angle. If you're going to repeat something, repeating your best work might be the safest bet. It's worth noting, Civil War 2 in the comics never matched the impact of the original. The first Civil War is still legendary, but the sequel? Many fans would rather forget it. So when you see all this material, you're bound to have questions. Honestly, the Russos probably don't want you digging too deep right now, because this kind of story is practically built for breakdown videos like this. What we're seeing now is just the appetizer. The real show hasn't even started yet.